Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin and Jomar
Hey,
from the
what's up?
band Process of Fusion, and we are here with Steve Cubucci of Wolves at the Gate. What's going on, Steve?
Not too much, man. How you doing?
We're doing good. We're excited to talk to you, and I'll let everyone in on a secret. We did talk to Steve a little bit before we recorded that intro, and he really got me excited to talk to him because of some things that he shared. I won't say it now. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Well played.
Well played. Yeah. Because we just copy and paste here. We're not doing this live. Um, so uh, so let's jump right in. You have a new album coming out, Types and Shadows. It's dropping on Friday, November 4th. So counting down the days until the album release, how are you all feeling about the record? And is there significant growth since your last one, 5 by 5?
So for the first question, um, this record seems like it's been taking a long time to finally get to the fans. Just between scheduling and logistics and stuff like that, and so it's really great for us to finally know that people are going to get to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're really excited about the songs. It's probably the best we've ever felt about a record
Awesome.
collectively. Um, but we're also kind of, I mean, I'm at that point where I'm already excited and getting ready for the next record. Because if you think about it, um, you know, there's been a pretty big gap from like the last time that I
Right.
got to like create, or make songs with guys in my band. For everybody else, like they're just still waiting for, the third record. And for me, it's been done since January. Like I finished writing all the songs and we went to the studio around then. So I'm pretty excited to start working on another record, but I'm not going to get into that because not everyone, no one's even heard the new one. So,
Yeah.
um,
I think we know exactly where you're coming from because our band entered the studio in January to start recording our album. And we got 4 songs in, and then we're like, hey, this is very expensive. We need to take a little time off. And now we're coming up to the next January, and we still have not put that record out. So we're like, maybe we should
yeah.
probably finish the rest of the album. So I feel you on that. We're like, these songs are old already.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's tough because, the things that, there's also songs on this record that I wrote right after we finished recording 5 by 5.
Hmm.
So those songs seem even older, like the very beginnings of working on this third record,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I guess answering your second question about like change, you know, it's not like we've changed genres or anything, but a lot of it is just changing how we look at how we create music in every sort of avenue. Whether it's the instruments or the lyrics or
Hmm.
um, gear. I think there's just been the most amount of change in every department on this record compared to any others. Just because I really feel like we all finally kind of got comfortable with seeing really what it is that we want to create as musicians. And I said this before, but we always feel like we're kind of grasping at something that we can't quite ascertain.
Hmm.
But on this record, we feel like we got a lot closer to hitting what we were aiming for. We didn't. I don't think we nailed it. I fear the day that I go, man, we just nailed this record, because that's kind of what drives me to keep writing,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
creating. So. But we definitely feel confident and we're excited for people to hear what we came up with.
No, awesome. And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear it the album either. So we've only
Uh,
heard Weary Ground, which everybody heard. So since that since so we're not that special speaking to you because we didn't hear the record, but since that was released, what's been the response so far? And well, I guess what's the response been to, I guess, the singles so far? From the fan base, and has it been a big encouragement to you guys that, like, wow, I think we really did hit our stride here?
So getting feedback from fans is always fun, but it's also always the same. There's always people who are going to compare what they just heard to their favorite tracks on the record before or 2 records back. And because we live in this internet world, people feel like they have to chime in immediately without like actually letting the song speak to them, or just kind of sitting and really taking it in. Because the same people that'll comment and say, I don't like this new direction, will then comment later and say, okay, I really love this song now. And so it's just like, just chill and just listen to the song. And, so that's been cool to see that I kind of want the music in a sense to have to grow on some people.
Right.
Because it's usually the people who are expecting to hear 5x5 Part 2 or Captors Part 2. And we want to take them with us to say, like, hey, we're glad you were into those records. Keep following us. Come with us. We want to show you what else, you can enjoy. We want to show you how you can enjoy heavy music in this way. So those are kind of the things that I'm more so excited about, is to see our listeners growing and not just kind of wanting the same thing or wanting us to follow the trends of what's popular. So so it's been cool to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Going back to the records you released, the tracks, I have here. I did listen to "Asleep" and "Flickering Flame."
Cool.
Those were pretty cool. I thought they were really solid. And I did notice, like, there seems to be a kind of contrast between light and heavy, or
Right.
melodic and heavy, and I really dug that. And like you said, when a person hears it the first time, they immediately try to go back or relate to something, right? And then I had to give it 2, 3, 4 playbys. I'm like, okay, I kind of get what they're doing here, and it really stuck to me. Like, this is something I would jam in my car, driving down a long road. But a question was, going down that route, was this, like, what is your goal for a first-time listener? What do you want them to pick up first when they put on the track, and then they're like, okay, that first go around where they're uncertain? What is it that you wish to convey?
Man, there's a lot of things that I could answer that question with, but
well, you said you had all the time, so go for it.
Well, some of the things that my knee-jerk reaction was this when you were asking that question is, I want people to think.
Okay.
We live in a culture that doesn't want people to do that. I mean, look at our presidential race.
Oh, jeez.
It's doing is just, those 2 candidates are a picture of us, as a culture, by and large. And I don't want to get political. I don't even know why I did that, because I
guess
don't care.
Is it because it's polarizing? Is divisive, polarizing kind of culture, or idea?
Yeah. But I guess that's like the big thing is I want people to think. I want people to hear our songs and not go, because this is like the way it has been in heavy music for a while, is like people are waiting for that part, or like I find that people enjoy songs less, but they enjoy like moments more.
Yes.
And that's crazy to me, because it's like I got into music because of songs, not because of like parts, not because like there was this crazy shredding part, this really brutal breakdown. But the whole song, like the breakdown was heavy because the whole song was working towards maybe that part. and the breakdown served the song, not the song was like the platform for the breakdown.
Right.
And that's so much of what our music has become in this post-hardcore, screamo, whatever you want to call it, genre. You know, I mean, we've been called everything from post-hardcore to screamo to metalcore to metal, and you know, it's like that's such a eye the beholder type of terminology nowadays. You know, and so for us, like, we don't want people to hear it and go, "That's this genre," or like, "Oh, look, that breakdown was sick," and they forget about the rest of the song. We want people to think about the music. We want people to hear the lyrics and go, "Man, what he's saying is really interesting." And there's a sense in which I don't want people to just get everything immediately, because then there's nothing for you to enjoy really in longevity. But to kind of, our hope is that people would hear the lyrics and go like, "Wait, well, I want to go read that. Like, I think I see what he's saying, but I want to really like invest some time maybe and read through the lyrics and see what he's like, the picture he's trying to paint for us." So those are the things that we hope can happen. And it sounds really like artistic and like cool guy to say all those things, you know. Maybe people hear it and they're just like, that just sounds like a rock song. That's what we're going for. If all you get is it's a rock song, then that's cool too. Like, if people just want to listen to it because they just want to hear music, that's totally awesome.
I think a pretty cool goal for a band would just be someone to say, "Hey, this is a rock song," and not try to throw like 37 different categories on the song.
Yeah.
Like you just said, like, "Oh, is it a post-punk hardcore screamo alternative?"
Yeah,
or
exactly.
what is it? Like I spoke to Lucas from Artifex Perio a couple weeks ago, and
cool. He's a great
one of
dude.
the genres. Yeah, he's a great dude, and one of the genres that their band gets labeled is space rock. And I was like,
wow.
so I asked him about it. He goes, "I don't even know what that means." And I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
according to the internet, you guys are part space rock." So he's like, "Well,
I'll tell you
have to
what,
figure it out."
they're my favorite space rock band.
Their music's out of this world.
That's
Maybe I'll cut that out.
No, I'd keep that in. I would say make it loud.
All right, I'll make it extra loud because you asked nicely. So I read that Types and Shadows is a concept album. There's the first and third person narrative. There's allegorical things. It's about sin. Can you maybe walk us through this concept for the album?
Yeah. So, they're all stories essentially, manifested in different ways. It's not a thread of a story. They're all isolated kind of stories, and a lot of it, the stories are ways to paint a picture of imagery, and to help people understand things maybe that might be hard to hear, or to help people think about things that you might want to put out of your mind.
Right.
'Cause a lot of things, it's funny, everybody says they want to know the truth, but the truth is really hard to hear, especially the truth regarding how we perceive ourselves, and also how we perceive ourselves as we would stand before God. I think everybody wants to believe that they're a good person and that they're good enough to be accepted by God. But the reality is no one is good enough. God's word is very clear. It says that no one's good. I think we know deep down inside that we're not right. No one is. You know, there's not a pastor out there who is intrinsically good. And so with the songs, we really wanted to help expose that, and not just to, you know, we want people to see that not because we think that we have some sort of righteous high horse that we sit on, because it's true, and because this reality serves a great purpose, for us to see really the goodness of God in the gospel. And I just feel like that's so often missed. People talk about salvation as like just maybe an option or something God did. And it's like you're just telling people everything they need to know to be saved, but they have no idea what they're being saved from. They have no idea why they would need to be saved. And this is why people find Christianity to be just kind of silly, or it's not desirable, because you've given nobody any reason to see why it would be necessary for God to send his son into this world to take on flesh and to bear the sins of his people so that they might be saved. So this was kind of our attempt to help people see it in a new light. So all the stories are just types and shadows of the substance, which is the gospel. They're not the substance, they're just ways that we've tried to point to this event that is so wonderful and beautiful.
The Band vs. Artist podcast is brought to you by the Kings of A&R website, a place where musicians and artists alike can go to find out the tastemakers of the industry. Learn something new at Kings of A&R. So I noticed on your website that there is no tour info for this new record, just 2 shows. So what's the deal with Wolves at the Gate as far as touring and getting this new album heard?
Yeah, we would love for as many people as possible to hear it live too. But unfortunately, it's just not in the cards right now for this year. As I was telling you guys when we got on the phone, my wife and I just had twins 3 weeks ago, and so I can't really leave because they were also born 2 weeks early, so they just need lots of care, and my wife needs lots of help as well to care for the kids, and I just couldn't, in good conscience, leave my family at this kind of like pivotal point. To many it would seem like the timing is just really bad, but it's like I was just like gifted 2 children, so I wouldn't say the timing's bad. I'm pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, you can't complain about that.
Yeah, that definitely trumps all.
You'll have that one fan on Facebook or something that's like, I can't believe you guys did this, and then everyone will jump to your defense.
Exactly.
Was there ever a thought to maybe push back the release of the album? So you guys could tour? Yeah,
man, it was so tough because, one, our team, our label, our booking, our manager, everybody's so cool. And nobody, I was almost dreading telling them just because I knew, when my wife and I were pregnant, that I just knew the timing was, off, And we tried to move the release around a couple different times and places, but just nothing seemed to make sense or to make it quote unquote better. And so we're just going to do the best we can, to release this record. And, it's unfortunate that we won't get to tour immediately when it comes out, but we are going to hit the road eventually. And the important thing was for us to get this record out to our fans, and we're, I've been trying to be a little bit more active on social media with interacting with our fans and stuff like that. And we're going to try and be a little bit more active there and giving people content just in this short while I'm being a dad.
Nice.
So, so that's kind of exciting too, is to, explore other ways that we can connect with our fan base. And it's tough because we love playing shows. We love that whole experience, but just not in the cards for this year. And we're looking forward to seeing what we can come up with for next year.
Right. Being that being the case, so the fan base would have, or actually just the public in general, they would have more time to digest what you put out. And, from the previous question, it seems like you really have a heavy meaning, a very in-depth reason for these songs, and that you want the listener to piece together and figure out and digest and go back to the song again and try to find, what is it, or what they can get from this. Being that, do you think pushing touring after for a while after the album has been released, do you think it would benefit the listeners' experience when they see you live?
Yeah, I didn't think about it in that way, and that's a really interesting perspective on that. And yeah, I think I would agree, because as you were saying that, it made me think about like records I've really enjoyed, and when sometimes tours don't, that first tour when a record comes out, they don't always come to your city, and so it's kind of cool to like have time to be to enjoy the record, and by the time they get to your city, like the record. So like any song that they would play, you would be excited to hear, you'd be excited to hear them play that. So yeah, I could definitely see value in that.
Right, and as a musician, you would love to, have the crowd sing your lyrics, or go along to your music. That reaction where you feed off the crowd, they feed off of you, and it's just that moment.
Yeah, Jonah, that's actually a really good point. Because just knowing from going to see like bands that I like, or bands in concert, and they're like, all right, we're gonna play a new song, and everyone's kind of like, okay, and then the band plays a song nobody's heard it before, and you're like, all right, that was cool, I got to hear it, but you can't sing along, you can't go crazy, and then I'd imagine even just the band is just sort of like, all right, well, we'll just take that sort of feedback, but you don't really know. So now everyone's kind of sitting on this record.
Yeah.
And now you guys, they'll know the words, they'll know the songs. It won't be strange, music to them, which I guess that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, because it was, we kind of experimented with some new material before we even, announced like the title of the album. We were playing Flickering Flame live for months before we even announced the record, and that was cool to throw that in the set, because it was almost like people just had to kind of just process the music, and it was cool. It's cool because that song has like a weightier feel to it and like a darker feel, and it was really cool to get people's feedback from that, and so I'm also looking forward to like playing that song now that people have heard it and like can read the lyrics and all that good stuff. So it is cool to kind of be able to do both.
Nice. And you spoke a little bit about your label and management. So you guys are on Solid State.
Mm-hmm.
Solid State, everybody knows Solid State at this point. Tons of great bands over the years, Under Oath, Haste the Day, everyone. So how does having a label as opposed to, maybe you guys having to do this on your own, how does that really change the whole game for you as far as being a band?
Well, we were independent for, I think 4 years before we signed to the label. And it's funny, there are things that change, but you have to work just as hard. It's just your work changes. Like the ways that I work hard now for the band I like this version better because I get to spend more time on the creative things than like the brass tacks of like getting CDs pressed and getting shirts printed. Yeah. All that stuff is just like, that's like soul killing to me in regarding like the music. I'm so glad that Ben, our bassist, is in our band because he takes care of that stuff. And our manager does as well. And I'm really glad that I don't have to do that anymore because that was like part of the duties, I had to pick up before we were signed. And that's just not why I'm into playing music. Having shirts and merchandise is just a necessary evil to survive, But if it was up to me, we would not have any T-shirts because it's such a distraction, like I just, again, not to sound like pretentious or anything, but I'm doing this I love the music, I love creating, and I love that I can proclaim a message too, so you can't really do that with a shirt, anything that anyone's tried to say profound on a T-shirt ends up just looking really dumb. So if you want to say something, it's a lot cooler when you say it in a song.
Well, you guys, you can blame Spotify for making you guys have to sell extra shirts and stuff while on tour.
Long before Spotify, I'm blaming LimeWire and Napster and
Kaza,
Groove Shark.
Internet in general.
You just really hit a throwback with Kaza or Kazaa, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Those illegal programs may have helped me get some really good music back in the day.
Yeah, man. I definitely hear that, and that's where it's such a catch-22 because, I'd be a liar to say that I never had any pirated records, but, the thing, even then, when you could get, anything you wanted at any point, I just loved having the record, so I always ended up buying what I liked. In bands that I was into, but it really has, like, I think Spotify is just like the legal version of it that you won't get, viruses on your computer and stuff.
It's like, oh, it's not illegal downloading. We're giving the artist, 0.00010% money. So it's not completely... Yeah, I feel you though. I love. There's nothing like having the actual physical copy of the album from a band that you love. Like as we do this podcast right now, I'm staring at like a whole wall of CDs that I have right now.
Oh yeah.
So I don't even know if I have it. I don't even have a CD player in this room, but I do have my CDs on display.
Yeah, it's funny. I've probably lost more CDs than like our fans have bought CDs. It's like kids these days, like they'll maybe buy.
It's harder to lose cassette tapes. I find.
Man,
that fit nicely into places.
That was like the beginning of piracy for me.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Okay, so save it to Microsoft Word. No, gosh darn, my computer won't work.
Well, take it to Computer Sam NYC. This guy can fix anything. He'll fix a broken laptop, a broken computer, a broken cell phone, broken tablet. This guy even fixes beepers. Who knows they make beepers anymore? I didn't. Just listen to all these satisfied customers.
My computer was broken, and all of a sudden, whoa, it's great again.
Mommy said the computer was broken, and then we called, what's his name? Sam, yeah, we called Sam, and now it's great again.
Hi, this is Nicolas Cage. I wanted to tell everybody how great Computer Sam really is. My computer wasn't working, and now it is, so that's great.
So remember, check computersam.nyc for your computer needs. Cheers!
Are you guys in the band all full-time musicians? And if not, what are some of your other jobs?
So during this time where we're spending less time on the road and more time at home, more so for me, so I can be with my family, I am a carpenter, and so I basically just do like general contracting, but I do so much with music. I feel like even when we were touring, like the most ever, every time I went home, I always just went to work. That's just kind of the way I am, and it's also the way the guys in our band are. It's just kind of just blue collar mentality. Ben, our bassist, for the longest time, we literally spent probably every day of our lives together for like 2-3 years because we worked together when we were off the road, and obviously we toured together. So we just felt like brothers. Nick, actually, our vocalist, he's involved in the medical field, like in nursing.
Wow.
And so he does that when he's off the road just because it's, you got a flexible schedule with that. And Abishai, he has this incredible, he's our drummer. He has this incredible, like, skill where he literally can just get work. Like he's never like I don't know how he I don't know how he does it.
I think I can relate to that, and I am a drummer as well, and things just fall on our laps. Like we don't even try, but I can relate.
Yeah, please explain. Maybe we have to get him on the show, and we talk about just how to find jobs.
Yeah, you should, because he's probably the coolest guy in our band. And I do all these interviews, and I'm just like, there's probably 3 other cooler guys to talk to than me. But I know all the time I'll ask him like, hey, what are you up to? And he's like, I'm working for Jack White's record label doing like some packaging. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not? I'm like, what have you been up to now? He's like, oh, I'm filling in playing drums for this band, or I got I'm doing some recording the studio as a session player, or I was laying some hardwood floors with some friends. I'm just like, he's just an everyday Renaissance man, and I love it. It's probably just because he's so incredibly likable, and he's just kind of guy that could pick up anything and be good at it. So that's
one of those.
That's probably why. Yeah, but Abishai and I are probably the ones that like we're just always doing music. If we're not touring, like my hands, I gotta be playing guitar. I gotta be writing music. It's just I kind of lose my mind if I don't get to do that, because that's what I enjoy the most. If I had to have like I guess an occupation. So that's Wolves at the Gate, Dad's at the Gate.
Dad's at the ready. All right, so I guess, is there anything else you want to talk about or add? We covered a nice variety of things. What would you like to let Wolves at the Gate fans and the listeners know?
Yeah, just simply, the least I could ask is just listen to the music, and if you like it, then pick it up, and try and support music and musicians so we can keep creating music. If you like it, that's how you help us keep making more music. So just check social media and all that nonsense, and you'll find out everything you need to know about Wolves at the Gate.
All right, sweet. So you heard it from Steve himself, everybody. If you want to support the band, go buy the record. It comes out on Friday, November 4th. It is called Types and Shadows. Don't stream it on Spotify. It's not helpful. No Kazaa, no LimeWire. Might not be there, but support them, and then maybe... Oh, there's the baby.
Yeah, she just spit up.
Nice.
Oh, poor Ella.
Oh. Well, thanks so much, man. I think we took up about an hour of your time, so go enjoy your babies.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, man. Thanks so much for talking to us.
All right, cool.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, see you guys.
All right, so that was Steve from Wolves at the Gate, and he was dropping some serious knowledge bombs, which is always awesome on the Band vs. Artist podcast. Super humble guy, super cool guy, and that was really fun. It was a really great conversation. So shout out to Steve. Thank you. And again, you can pick up their album Types and Shadows on Friday, November 4th. Please buy it. It sounds like it's going to be great. Like I said, we haven't heard it, but from what we've heard so far and how he explained it, it sounds awesome. And Jomar, thanks for being with us. We've done about a dozen podcasts, and this is your first one.
Yeah, yeah. I figured since Dylan and Patrick got it, I might as well jump in too. Yeah,
Jomar was the replacement today, but he held his own.
Yeah.
So that means you're going to be back, right?
Yeah, I actually would like to do this more. It's very interesting to see other artists' perspective, and me personally, I'm not, how do I say, like trained in music, or I'm not really artisty-fartisy, I'm very technical and stuff.
What Jomar's saying is that he's a natural, and he's one of those guys that sits behind a drum set and figures out amazing things, but doesn't know how he's doing it.
I just play, yeah.
He's being humble.
Well, I I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I
He's
just,
like, yeah,
I just
am
play.
pretty good.
I just play, and I try very hard to, be good at what I do. But as far as creating music in the sense of lyrics and melody and that kind of stuff, what I call note music, because you got to read notes, I don't know about it, nor do I pay attention to the lyrics and the meaning. So it's very interesting to hear what other artists have to say about their own work, and I try to relate to that with my work. That passion, it's still the same. It's music, that's what they work hard for. So it's like a mutual respect kind of thing for me. So I would like to hear what they say.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess that's it. To Patrick and Dylan, you guys stink. You guys are very irresponsible and just don't want to podcast with me. But it's okay. I have Jomar. He's going to be the permanent replacement. Again, shout out to Steve. For everybody that listens to the Band vs. Artist podcast, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. We hadn't done an episode in a while. We had a little break. Patrick and Rose, our band members, got married last month. And people were starting school or work and different things like that. So yeah, we just needed a little break, but we're back, and hopefully we have some good guests coming up soon. I do have an email from one of the members of 90s rock band Frodis, so that could be the next guest on our show. But I guess that's it. This is Justin and Jomar from the band Process of Fusion. You are listening to the Band vs. Artist podcast. Shout out to Kings of A&R website for helping us out with the podcast and posting us on the blog. Shout out to Computer Sam for his support for all of our technical needs. Check him out. If you got broken tablet, cell phone, anything, this guy will fix it. Computer. And again, thank you guys, the listeners, for giving us a little bit of your time. All right. Peace out, guys.
See ya.